Hey everyone, it's Mr. Aarons here. We're starting up on chapter 4. We started up yesterday, did those lessons. Today we're going to be doing our homework. I think this homework should honestly take you no more than 12 minutes at the most. These first few days of chapter 4, pretty easy. Hopefully not too much of a struggle for you. A lot of refresher on graphing. We're going to look through those right now. So I'm going to do 4 homework problems with you, and then you'll be set on your way to the rest by yourself. If you'd like to see which ones you can skip, you can come into my live lessons. Otherwise, here we go. Number 1, they ask us what are the variables in each graph? Describe how the variables are related to the various points on the graph. Awesome. All right, so we know in order to find the variables on the graph, there's a pretty easy way to do this. They tell us the variables more often than not. Right here is one variable. Right here is our other variable. I'm going to switch up my colors actually since I circled in red. I'm going to go with the purple today. So my variables are temperature and time. Those are the things we are measuring. Those are the things that are changing. Those are my 2 variables. Describe how the variables are related at various points on the graph. So I'm going to look at a few different spots. I'm going to look right here, and right here. So I notice while time is at 0 or relatively close to 0, while time is low, temperature is low. So I'm going to describe this. Time is low, temp is low. I'm just going to write 0.1 there. You can do this in a few different ways. There's not really a right or wrong way to do this. 0.2, I put right here. As time increases, time is going up. I can see that because I know time is moving this way. And so we've moved from here to here. So as time increases, temperature is moving this way. Temperature has also increased. So as time increases, temperature increases. And if I look at 0.3 here, I can see that trend is still happening. Time continues to increase. And so does temperature. And there's a few different ways that you could do this. You don't have to do it just like this, but that's the gist of it. If we could assume that this was going to keep going, as time continued to move on, temperature would continue to go up, our graph would continue to go up. So you're looking at number 2, you'll do the same thing for that. You'll look at those 2 variables, explain what they are, explain how they're related to each other. So if we could assume here, maybe this is the temperature in the day. They didn't really give us much information, but maybe this is saying as the day goes on. So maybe this is time at the morning, and maybe this is right around noon. Number 3, they tell us to match each graph with its related table. I'm just going to do the first one for you. It should help you with the second 2. It shouldn't make this too tricky for you. Our big thing for doing this is we're looking at these numbers. They give us the numbers, and we're going to line them with the chart. The first thing I know is that we have distance as a variable, and I can assume that time is the other variable. They don't really tell us, but on the charts, that time is all of them. So I'm just going to write time down here. And I'm going to start looking at individual points here. So I'm going to take this first one. I see time is 1, sitting at 1 right here. Distance is at 10. Second point, time is at 2. Distance at 20. Third point, time is at 3. Distance is at 30. Fourth point, time is at 4. Distance at 40. Fifth point, time is at 5. Distance at 50. Now I'm going to look at my charts here, see which one of those match up. 1, 10, 2, 20, 30, 40. This one looks pretty good to me. I'm thinking it's A right now. I'm going to check with other ones real quick. 110, this one could be true. 230, nope. 130, nope. So we know that this one has to be A, and I'm just going to draw a line between those 2. So do the same with the next 2. Match those up. Read them just like that. All you have to do is really read these ordered pairs. You can think of them as the same way right here. 110, 110, 220. Pretty quick, pretty easy. All right, we're getting on to some graphing here. Number 6, sketch a graph to represent the situation. These graphs aren't going to be perfect because they don't give us exact points. they're going to give us a rough estimate of what's happening here. So they say during a trip, your speed increases during the first hour and decreases over the next 2 hours. So I know that my variables here are my speed and hours or time. So I'm going to make a graph like this. And I think it is always best to put time on bottom. It's easiest to read that way. And I know I'm going to have my first hour, so hour 1, hour 2, and they say next 2 hours, so I'm going to have 3 hours total. And on this side, I'm going to have my speed. And they didn't give us an exact formula or numbers for those, so my speed is just going to be increasing. So I'm just going to put 0 here, and I just know it's going up this way. My speed is not going down. You'll see that as time goes on. So my speed moves upward. I don't know exactly how many units, though. So your speed increases for the first hour. So I'm going from 0 to hour 1. I know that my speed is increasing, so I'm going to go like this. And then it says, and decreases over the next 2 hours. So I get to hour 1 right here, and now my speed is going to start decreasing. I don't know how fast it's decreasing. Your graph could look a lot different. Right now, you could have this first line going something like this if you wanted to. You could have had just barely going up. Whatever works, because they didn't tell us how fast or slow it is going. And it's going to start decreasing. Again, you could have this decrease steadily, or you could have this decrease nice and slow. I'm going to choose nice and slow here. Decrease for the next 2 hours to hour 3. So for 2 hours there, it is decreasing. Notice it's not at 0, but it is decreasing. It's going down. And that would be a good representation of this graph. So you're going to do the same thing with 7 and 8. Pay attention to those. Perfect. Number 9, they tell us error analysis. So we're going to look at this and find where the mistake is. During the first 2 weeks of training, Shelly ran 15 miles per week. Okay, 15 miles per week. And that is for the first 2 weeks. Then she increased to 20 miles per week. Okay, so I know after week 2, she starts running 20 miles per week. I don't know for how long, but at some point she does that. Describe and correct the error in sketching a graph to represent the relationship between the weeks and the total number of miles she has run. Okay, so I know for the first 2 weeks, she's going to run 15 miles. So week 0 to week 1, we got 15 miles right here. Perfect. Right between 10 and 20. For the next week, we know we should do 15, and then she should add another 15. I'm looking at my units here. It's total miles run. So it's not each week. It's not going to flatline at 15. We're totaling the miles, so it's going to continue to go up. So 15 plus 15 is going to be 30. So I know that after this, it should move up to 30, which it does. So we have 1 week at 15, another week that we ran 15 more to get to 30. Now we know she increased to 20 miles per week. So we're going to do 15 plus 15, and then the next week she's going to add 20 to that. That's going to get us to 50. Notice what they did on the graph. They brought it down to 20, which can make sense. I see the error, but our key is that we have total miles here. So instead of going down, we should increase up to 50. So I'm going to describe and correct the error here. Shelly increased to 20 miles, and the graph, measures in total miles run. And that would be a perfect way to represent that. So basically the issue here was that they graphed for the first 2 weeks the total miles run, and then for the third week how many miles she ran that week. In reality, they needed to add that 20 on and go up to 50. All right, so the rest of this should not take you too long. Hope you have a little bit of fun with this. I kind of like the beginning of graphing. You all have a great rest of your day. Good luck.